Okay, so apparently I am live. So, first of all, hi everyone. I think I'm starting to get used to doing these live videos now. Maybe, possibly, kind of. I don't know. Uh, yeah, I'm still persistent with them. I'm still trying them. I'll see how I go with them. If they keep going good, yeah, I'm cool with that. If they don't really get the reactions or people aren't really too into it, then I'll stop. But people seem to be liking them, so I am going to keep going. So this is a video, a little kind of live stream video that maybe you wouldn't be expecting from someone like me because you all know that I am more pro AI than against AI. I've been pretty upfront about that, pretty honest that, I think AI can be more of a benefit than a hindrance, but it doesn't mean that there's things about AI and it's particularly how it's being used that I don't like. There are several things I don't like about AI. And I thought because I've been kind of, battering that yay AI kind of drum, I thought I would do my little video as to the things that I don't really like about AI. So if anybody tunes in, feel free to drop some comments about what you don't like about AI and we can discuss them. If not, I'm just going to go through the stuff that I don't particularly like about it. And you can let me know in the comments after the live stream's done what you think and what your thoughts are about it. I did try doing like a later on at night one. I tried doing one about 9:30 the Monday night after I got back from a support group, but didn't really get a lot of engagement. Um, the 3 o'clock ones were getting engagement, but maybe later on in the day rather than during the day. I just thought, well, I'm just gonna keep doing it because it's giving me more practice of doing live rather than me just constantly relying on the editing and editing and editing and even more editing. But I do that for my other channels. So, right. So I'm going to start with one of the key things that really does annoy me about AI, and it's not specifically the AI itself. It's the fact that this is being abused by people. Now, my stance on AI for anybody that's not watched any of my videos, I will say this. AI is a tool in your tool belt. It's something that it kind of helps you with what you can't do. It shouldn't replace what you can already do. So, for example, in terms of content creating, I can create content, I can edit content, I can upload content, I can think of ideas for content most of the time, and I run with them. But there are parts of content creation that I do struggle with. Things like titles, descriptions, hashtags, tags, a lot of the search engine optimization, all that kind of stuff. I struggle with that. It's something that being an older head going into like YouTube creative games and content creating game that the youth, the generations behind me, it'll be second nature to them. But for generations like mine and behind, we struggle with that. We struggle with that type of thing of getting our videos out there and getting them noticed. I mean, this channel is a prime example. Like, I struggle a lot with trying to get any information out here, and it's because I'm not really going through all the kind of big key points about it, when especially not running it with AI and stuff. Ginger Engine, because I've got a following and I want to make sure that I can try and boost that reach to make sure all my followers get to see what I do look for bits of help with the AI software that I use in terms of description ideas and titles, hashtags, tags, the stuff that I mentioned. And if videos aren't doing too well, maybe looking to Gemini for ideas as to how to boost those analytics. How can I help my metadata? Any advice, suggestions? Don't get me wrong. Sometimes the video is just a dead duck, like a lot of videos can be. But you try any help that you can get. You take whatever hints you can get. You do whatever you can. So I try and do that with AI essentially to help me with the stuff that I can't do. like in terms of my business, for example, my Ginger Media Limited business, the content creating part is the fun part. That's the fun part of the business. That's me getting to talk about things that I like to do. That's me recording, uploading, editing, all that kind of stuff. But the back end of the business can be really tricky for me. For example, when I did my first uh, professional government contract, I was absolutely terrified doing that. I felt so out of my depth. Imposter syndrome was kicking my ass left, right, and center. I thought I wasn't good enough. I didn't know. I didn't know anything. I thought I knew stuff, but going through that process and getting the kind of outside seasoning, I realized I knew jack shit about what to do in terms of content creation and things like that, especially when it came to a live setting and live recordings. And you look up YouTube videos, you do that kind of research, but a lot of it for me was like slamming my head off a brick wall. I couldn't figure out for the life of me what the hell I could do to put those things into practice. Whereas when I went to Gemini with the stuff, so that's the AI that I use the most, Google Gemini. I tried Chat GPT, it just didn't jive with me. I didn't really like it. It wasn't my thing. But when I started using Google Gemini, it felt more my speed in the sense of I'm a bit slow when it comes to trying to pick things up. And when it was trying to, help me, I was needing examples, I was needing kind of, different strategies and different ideas, constantly feeding back to it when it was saying, let's try this. And then I thought, when I would find something that was wrong with it that I didn't understand, and then I would be feeding back to it again, getting more examples of it. So I was using that for essentially trying to boost my skill level. And that was really helpful. It was also helpful in terms of back end stuff. It was for things like, when I got my first paycheck from it, from the government job, I didn't have a clue what I was doing with that. Well, I went into what the Ginger Media business gets set up because 3 channels got monetized, and it was a case of I need an entity and an umbrella to put it under, and Ginger Media Limited became that umbrella. It became that thing for me. So that's where I needed the help. That's where I needed the stuff to go around it, the business side of it, like what I do in terms of if I keep money aside for corporation tax. What about my expenses? Turned out I was doing my expenses wrong. I didn't know that because nobody told me the right way that I was doing it at all. I didn't have a clue. Gemini was able to help me break that stuff down. It was able to help me break down how I would pay myself my first wage because that would affect my benefits for that month. How would I handle that? How would I manage my finances for it? How would I be able to keep money in the bank for the company? What unexpected bills could potentially be coming my way? So it helped me with a lot of businessy back end stuff that I did not know what to do. So I'll talk about why I feel like AI is being abused in a second, because I want to acknowledge the fact that I've had a comment from my good friend Kev from Gentle Dorks. Good to see you, buddy. Well, thanks for tuning in. You are my holy roller when it comes to these live streams, so I appreciate it. And also, congrats again, Gentle Dork, for the recent success with the YouTube Shorts. That's been really good to see, and getting some extra subs in your channel. I'm really, really chuffed to see it, man. So let's see what your comment says. I started using it for the analytics to help pad out ideas, and as you've seen, it's really helped with my views on the channel. Yes, it really has. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing. It won't just help with your shorts as well. It'll also help if you're planning to do long form content as well, because as we know, sometimes analytics are just, when you're doing shorts, they boost them out just for shorts. And then when you try and do long form videos, it's like, oh, okay, we're switching lanes here. How do we do this? And you fall flat on your ass, where Google Gemini can really help out with that. Whereas I'm kind of the reverse of you, Kev. As you know, like my longer form videos for Ginger Engine are good. My short form content for Ginger Engine doesn't work. So that's where I've been trying to figure it out. So these are the points that I'm trying to make to anybody that's watching this after it's gone live. There are good points to Gemini in terms of things that are not the creative side. But the thing that I don't like about AI, and any creative will probably agree with me in this, is that it is being abused in a creative way. Now, by that I mean when any new thing comes along, it's normally the arts that suffer for it because we are essentially the dumping ground for anything that is going to be like revolutionary, to quote DVS Diesel from Thomas and Friends. So it comes in, and the creative side of it is the one that suffers. I mean, you'll have seen the things that are going around at the moment, and it is the the AI kind of generated images where it's kind of like summing up your life essentially. So there's like an AI caricature image of you. And if, like, for example, if it was me, I've not done it, but if it was me, it would probably be like a Thomas the Tank Engine, a microphone, like a ring light, some like studio paneling or whatever to symbolize that I'm a content creator, that kind of stuff. So, and all of these things have been created. They're essentially like a viral fad. And these are the things that people who really hate AI, who don't like it, who want to see it obliterated, they will jump on this as we hate AI. AI sucks. And I can't blame them for those things. I hate the fads. I hate those type of things. Like the year before in 2025, it was, the making the action figures of yourselves in AI. One of my friends done that for me. Again, similar kind of thing. It was like a wee studio booth and like a wee toy steam train or steam engine. And I get that. And in fairness, it shows you the potential what AI can do, but it gives people that really don't like AI something to pounce on. Well, it's a very visual example of this is crap. This is utter dog meat. And this is what is wrong with the entire world today. What you're taking food from the mouths of people who want to do art and CGI and all this kind of stuff. And I do understand that. The other point around it is that the people who make these type of AI things would have never went to a caricaturist or an artist in the first place, and they never would have spent the money. So you wouldn't have got that money in the first place. But I do understand that these fads and the way that AI is being abused, it doesn't put a good spin on it. Because if you use it sparingly, if you use it sporadically to things to help you in a non-creative capacity, it is really good. Like me being like self-employed, with my media company, it's a godsend in terms of helping me with the back end parts of it rather than the front facing parts of it. Have I used it to help me with some content like creationy stuff? I've used it to maybe flesh out an idea, like a brainstorming thing, to make sure that an idea is worth doing rather than it being a huge steaming pile of dog poo. But aside from that, I don't really use it much for the creative parts of it. It is all back end. It is all search engine optimization, analytics, padding out ideas, as Kev mentioned, stuff like that. That's where I use AI in terms like that. I don't like the way that it is being abused and it's being forced down the throats of people that don't want to use AI, because AI is popping up everywhere. It is in every phone, it is in every app, it is in every bit of software. It's good for people that maybe want to use it, but there should be like an opt-in, opt-out kind of option around AI of whether you want to use AI or you don't want to use AI. That's a thing that I always have an issue with. It's the issue of choice. The issue of choice is a thing for me. I think you should have a choice of something rather than just being told this is what it is, deal with it. In the same way of physical media. I've talked about that on my Ginger Engine channel. Again, subscribe if you haven't already, but I'm pretty sure everybody that will be watching this video will have came from the Ginger Engine channel. So I'll also shout out everybody that's subscribed to me from the Ginger Engine channel, because almost at 460 subs. Woohoo! And 100 of them have came from just doing the collaborations with my Ginger Engine stuff. So that's awesome. But that's something that it does annoy me, where AI is being abused. And it's not the AI that's doing the abusing. It's not the system that's the problem. The system isn't the problem. It's the people running the system that are the problem. What? Because in the great sphere of technology, all the knee jerk techno fear reactions, someone always abuses technology. Someone will always abuse a new type of technological advancement to the point where it essentially becomes, as many people have pointed out, AI slop. And YouTube are very guilty of it as well because, oh, I see a wee black and white kitty cat in my garden. I know that's this is the random parts of the live streams. I really am the ADHD squirrel. Said in this case, it was a black and white kitty cat. I like kitty cats. Everyone knows I have a kitty cat. So that's the type of things that do annoy me. If things are abused, it doesn't. That's what causes everybody to jump on the hate brigade. So if someone abuses AI in the terms of those viral trends, that's when the hate starts to ramp up and ramp up and ramp up. And I won't lie, I have used AI in some creative capacities, as people have known, like maybe helping me with ideas for thumbnails and stuff like that. I think it was literally one thumbnail in Ginger Engine, and everybody jumped on it. They were like, "What the hell? We thought you were better than that." I very much learned my lesson and was like, "Okay, if I'm going to do thumbnails, I want to create them myself. That's what I will do, and maybe get advice on how to improve them, rather than just going and generating one." So I understand the hate around it. I understand, or the reactions around that, because a lot of people do have a visceral hate around AI, like a real intense, I hate AI type of thing. And I do understand that. I understand that they have that visceral hate. And obviously, I've had to say, I hate AI for this title because, well, that's what's going to get the clicks. But I don't hate AI, but there are parts that I really dislike. So, Kev, once again from Gentle Dork, the people who are using AI to completely make content are the ones who are helping the hate towards AI. Yes, there's problems with AI and people abusing it, but hopefully it'll stop soon. I think it will stop, but not as quick as other fads because it's being integrated into a lot more things going forward. Prime example, in the creative industry, the last big thing was CGI. CGI was the big thing that everybody was complaining about because CGI was everywhere. It was being used, it wasn't being used properly, to the point where when people look at movies from like early 2000s, late 90s CGI, and compare that to the CGI that you've got now, it's like you just look at it and go, oh, it really dates things. It doesn't help it. And that could be the same kind of thing for AI content or the AI slop that is going around right now. That will be very badly dated in time as things advance. And AI is being promoted more on platforms like YouTube. AI slop is being essentially kind of put down our throats where we don't want to. I mean, I look at my long form and short form feeds on YouTube and check that stuff in the regular. And it's surprising a lot of AI content is being promoted to me. Like, quite literally, one was promoted to me where they literally copied the script of another YouTuber and put it in, added some AI generated narrator, and put it out as content. And the way they knew that it was ripped off was that they didn't even edit out the original YouTuber's handle and name. So they essentially shopped themselves. They shot themselves in the foot with it. I find that stuff hilarious because it's like it's people that just do not have an understanding of AI at all. I don't claim to have a huge understanding. I just know that I use it for the bits that I need help with, and then I know where I need to engage my own brain, and that's what works for me. So in terms of AI, I hate that it's being abused, and it's really badly being abused by people. I don't like that part of it. Use it to help with what you can't do. Don't replace what you can already do. But there are channels that I have seen who are integrating AI into their type of life, and they are skyrocketing. There's a channel that I'm actually a subscriber to and she's a 55-year-old American female, and she's been starting to kind of like catalog her life and trying to figure out how to build like her YouTube channel from the ground up. And in the space of, is it 3-4 months, she has built a better subscriber and view count on her channel than I built on this channel since 2008. And she's openly admitting that she's using AI to help with that. That just shows you what it can actually do. And what is being promoted ahead of, content where I'm just trying to do something and see how it goes, and then it just kind of dies in its hole. So let's go into the next thing that is kind of annoying me about AI. And it's the issue that is annoying a lot of people and concerning a lot of people, and it's the environmental issues around it. Because we need a lot of electricity and use a lot of water in terms of like technology and stuff. And AI, it uses a lot of like consumption. It consumes a lot, to the point where people are actually getting worried that it's going to essentially like run our rivers dry and run our oceans dry. Well, I personally don't see that happening. I think that is media scaremongering. And I'm not denying that it could be a possibility, but there's also possibilities that the world could end at any point. Like any Nostradamus thing going out there, or basically that the world will end in 2012 was the big thing, or the world was going to end in the millennium, and we're still in it 26 years after the millennium. Technically, maybe the world did end because we're living in a shit show right now. But I do understand that there is environmental issues around it. But I think as the technology improves and moves on over time, less energy and less consumption will be needed, and hopefully there'll be less of an impact. I think it's more because it's a new technology and it's still very fresh. That's where the problems are right now. Hopefully, I mean, what's the thing is it Moore's law? The technology gets like smaller or more efficient every 18 months. That's a verbatim quote. It's not like directly from my head, but it's that essential kind of thing where technology will improve, it'll become more efficient, and it's like every year and a half. And I think AI will essentially be the same. It'll start to get more improvements, more efficiency, and use up less and have less consumption. So I'm not denying that it's a very worrying issue because, well, climate change is an issue. Everybody worries about the environment, what essentially we're leaving behind for those after us. I mean, my own kids, I worry about what type of dumpster fire of a world they're living in right now. So I try and shield them from everything. So in terms of stuff, I don't let them watch any kind of AI content, but at the same time, I won't be able to stop them at a certain point. They're growing up, and AI is a part of their generation's lives now. They are literally going to be growing up integrated to this AI kind of thing. So they will be a case of, yeah, Dad, stop being old and just join us in the future already. And that could be the same kind of thing. So those generations, they won't know the difference. They won't know it. Just like they wouldn't know any movies that didn't have CGI in it. It's the same kind of thing. So I understand the points around environmental issues with AI. I'm just saying, hopefully, with advancement, that will stop. But will it be a too little, too late kind of thing? So, hey, Spider Fan 2003, glad to see you. Thank you for coming along to the live stream. Like you and Gentle Dark, you're my main go-tos when it comes to these live streams. But you're always there, so I appreciate it. I really do. So I'll go into the next part of the things that annoy me about AI. And I think this is one that a lot of people are really kind of jumping on this particular bandwagon because it's quite fresh. And it's the bringing people back from the dead type of thing. And I've seen quite a few of these, and what there were kind of fan made ones, I say with air quotes, where they would be bringing back, wrestlers that had passed away. Eddie Guerrero was a big one. What would it be like if Eddie Guerrero was still alive and wrestling, and you're seeing it's how scary good these ones are at, like, showing little clips of Eddie Guerrero still, if he was still living now, wrestling. And that stuff, I don't agree with it makes me feel uncomfortable because there's no consent or permission from the family. Big one that was going around was the Comic-Con ones, and it was Stan Lee. Now, many people know Stan Lee, creator of Marvel Comics, and Marvel was a big franchise. And there was this thing going around, I think it was in one of the Comic-Cons, where they were essentially bringing him back to life using AI to greet fans at Comic-Cons. That I did not agree with. I thought that was really insensitive. I thought it was in very bad taste. I thought that I don't even know if the family approved of that, but from what I heard about Stan Lee's family, they weren't exactly the nicest of people, like towards him. So wouldn't put it past them to do something that horrible to like, the memory of Stan Lee. But I hate that. I was really disgusted seeing that. I didn't like it at all. It's not. These are the things that add to the fuel of the fire of the AI hate. When things like this happen, it annoys me and it makes me feel really upset. And there's something that I have seen, and it's something that's going to happen to people and probably happen to more actors as time goes on. So Spiderfinger saying it sucked that it happened to Stan Lee. At the end of his life, there was some elder abuse. Yeah. From what I'd seen, there was definitely like abuse towards Stan Lee, and it was horrible. But something that I have seen, and it's revolving around Val Kilmer. Now, Kev might be able to confirm this a little bit more, but it's something that I saw on a report from Watch Mojo. There was a film project that Val Kilmer had done. I think it was he was kind of most of the way through it before he took not well, and also couldn't get back to it and passed away. Now, using AI technology, they are able to complete this final project that Val Kilmer was doing before events unfolded. It looks like that this film has now been completed. It's going to be released, and it was released and filmed with the permission of his family. Now, I, again, don't feel too comfortable around this because if Val Kilmer had like an awareness of AI before his passing and had something in his will saying, if there's a time where technology advances enough that can finish projects I never got to finish before I became unwell and passed away, then I give my consent. And that's going to use, I can let that pass because that person has said, okay, cool, fire away. His family doing it, I don't know, because AI wasn't really at the forefront when Stan Lee passed away. It was only just starting to kind of come out the promise because I think it was 2024, 2025. Around that kind of point, he passed away. So I don't think he would have known like the possibilities of what AI could do. It's the last thing you probably want to think about when you were on your deathbed. Yeah, AI could help me live forever. I snuff it. Off you go. So I'm not too okay with that. It's something that's interesting to see. Like I'll have that kind of curiosity because I want to see how it would look in comparison to what's kind of going on. So Spider-Man 2023 was when AI was starting to be pushed. Yep, that's fine. So I'm going to just double check Val Kilmer's death date. Okay, Val Kilmer, American actor. When did he pass away? 2025. So 2025 was when he passed away. And yes, that has popped up. Like there is a YouTube video that also from Entertainment Tonight that Val Kilmer is being resurrected by AI 1 year after his death. So AI was in prominence when when Val Kilmer passed away. But whether or not I think he would have had that conversation, I don't know. It's not exactly something you'd necessarily want to bring up, but you never know. So yeah, Gentle Dark Stanley never gave consent for anything his family did after he died, and probably didn't give any consent to anything that he did before he died. And it's cool you brought up Stan. I've been reading a lot of his comics recently. Well, Kev is definitely one for you to speak to, Spider fan, because like Kev knows a lot about comics, so and especially the Marvel ones. So be sure to subscribe to Gentle Dork if you want to hear more about his stuff as well. So yeah, that's an interesting one. It's like Val Kilmer in As Deep as the Grave is the film that's going to be coming out, and his performance is AI generated because it was 5 years prior to his death in 2025. Val Kilmer was cast as Father Fenton, a Catholic priest and Native American spiritualist in As Deep as the Grave. So we never obviously got to finish that before we took Not Well and passed away. But it looks like it's going to be finished now through using AI, and his family have consented to that being used. I don't know how to feel about that. And it's a very murky, muddy water, because people could do that with a lot of things. They could do that, for example, I mean, I think there was a lot of catalogs of Bruce Lee content or Bruce Lee films that never got finished before he died. The Crow with Brandon Lee. Well, imagine what they tried to AI that instead of trying to do what they'd already done after he kind of shot himself in the middle of production. So where would the line be? I think it would need to be a case of, if you were in that kind of sphere, maybe you need to have conversations with your agent, because they would have essentially licensing rights to your image, conversations with your family, so you know what would be okay and not okay in terms of, if you passed away, would you want any projects finished with AI recreating your likeness to get the work out there to the public? I think the only morbid curiosity thing I am curious about with seeing it is how it compares to CGI in that sense, because I'm just thinking of Rogue One, Star Wars story, where Carrie Fisher was kind of brought back in her guise, and so was Governor Tarkin, and they were brought back using CGI, and that took me right out of the film, man. That was Rogue One is a brilliant film, but any scenes with Tarkin in it, you're very, very aware that CGI is being used, and it's a bit creepy. I would like, in the morbid curiosity part of my mind, to see how that compares to the AI recreation with Val Kilmer. How the technology has advanced, which one would be better to do those type of things, and how would that expand in the story? Same deal with Carrie Fisher when they did the episode 9. Episode 9, in my opinion, sucks, but they had to use obviously CGI and stuff, and like using her daughter as like the life model for any scenes that was going to be shot by Carrie Fisher, like flashback ones. So that's what I'm interested to see. I'd be interested to see how it holds up, how it compares, and where this advancement is going. Spider fan, it's scary to live in a world where we could have a whole movie with nothing but AI actors. The AI actors thing I'm going to talk about in a second as well, because that's another thing. Kev, Gentle Dork, he also used AI for his voice in Top Gun. Carrie Fisher's image was used with permission from her daughter. Tarkin, I'm not sure who they got permission from. Yeah, I mean, again, it's the permission thing, but that was before AI. It was a CGI permission, so they would maybe need to look at how it is with CGI stuff and whether that would apply to AI stuff. The movie with AI actors, that's something that came out, and it was the whole Tilly Norwood thing, the first AI actress. And this was obviously brought out because it was trying to gain publicity for this person's kind of talent agency that they were doing, and this person was using AI generated actors and actresses to come up with films and film projects and all this kind of stuff, and was building up a portfolio of it, and then had this Tilly Norwood actress, and was trying to see if they could use that actress in films going forward. The entertainment industry kind of went nuts when it came to that. They were not okay with this. I couldn't say that I blamed them. I could see both sides. If you've got a project and you want to get it finished, but you do not have the budget, the time, the resources, the capacity, but you want to get something out, I can kind of see it in terms of you don't want anything left like done. But on the other side, I would rather like get people involved, even if it was a case of we were being upfront, going like it's very limited budget, but we want to try and get real actors, want to get real spaces and all this kind of stuff. That I get too, but I'm finding it's a very murky area that we are in right now. And again, it's the creatives that suffer. The creatives suffer for it. And that's what I really don't like about AI. The creative industry always is the one that has to bite the bullet and we essentially get shot. No other industries do. We're always seen as the guinea pig. And if it looks like it's going to take all our jobs and our livelihood away, like real world jobs go, well, hey, that's cool. We can now start doing that to every other industry and you're all screwed. So that does annoy me a lot. What creators and creatives in our entertainment industry are the ones that are always on the chopping block. At the same time, they can also, on the other hand, say, we're always the first to revolutionize the world. That's where you get the spin around it. But there was a movie in the mid 2000s about a fully AI actress called Simone. I remember that. I can't remember watching it, but I do remember stuff about it. So yeah, it just shows that a lot of these things are starting to come to fruition. And I think what a lot of people don't realize about me, and specifically with my thing with AI, is that at first I was against AI. I have watched too many sci-fi movies and dystopian futures like Terminator, Matrix, all that kind of stuff. I wasn't for AI in the slightest. I still preferred the creative part of it. I preferred like, stuff by humans for humans, essentially. Someone will end up putting that in a fucking slogan or a poster or something or a t-shirt. But yeah, it was a by humans for humans kind of thing. And I remember going to a networking event, and that was in 2023 when AI was starting to come into prominence, and we were basically told AI is here, you're going to get left in the dust, and your business will fold if you don't like start embracing it, because there's bigger companies that already have like a step, already have a slice of this pie. They're already in the game, because when AI was rolled out to masses in 2023, it was already being used by bigger corporations. So it was something that caused me to go, I might need to have a little think about how I'm going to adapt my business going forward so it keeps going and keeps growing. And again, I only use it sporadically. But this actually ties into my next point around AI. And that, like every other type of new thing on the block, it is extremely addictive. AI is a very, very addictive piece of technology where, with it being brought forward so quickly and it's being pushed to the masses very fast, you can't escape it. And I wish you could. For people that don't want to use it, I think there should be an opt-in, opt-out policy, but it's being pushed on everybody. Like we said, when I had that networking event, it was get on board with AI or you're going to be left in the dust. And I also kind of went and maybe drunk the Kool-Aid a little bit too much, because when I was getting called out about it and getting, let's just say, not very nice messages about it, it was really starting to mess with my head and make me upset, to the point where I kind of doubled down because I felt threatened, I felt attacked, and I shouldn't have reacted the way I did. That was ironically a very human reaction to an artificial intelligence response. But now that things have kind of settled a bit, and I've had that the highs and the lows with it. And that's why I now have my baseline of help with what you can't do, don't help with what you can do. But it's still a very addictive piece of technology where you try and use it to benefit you, but you start going down rabbit holes very, very quickly with it. And I'll give you an example after I read these next couple of comments. So from Kev again, yes, and the whole convenience thing around it and it being programmed into all new technology. Yep. It's like how everything has to be an app nowadays. Now everything has to be an app that integrates AI. I mean, there will be generations now that will not remember what it was like before the following things: AI, apps, physical content. Spider fan, everything I upload a video, YouTube is always here with good AI tools you can use. I roll every time. Yeah, I've noticed that the YouTube Studio now, if you use it on the desktop, it's now got its own integrated AI. And I will admit, sometimes it's been very tempting to click on that and go, give me help with XYZ. But I'm not doing it. YouTube AI is essentially Google Gemini's AI because they're one and the same. But it's like I use my Google Gemini for help with, like I say, the back end stuff where I need the help, not the front end stuff where I'm recording this content and being like, hey, I record content. Maybe I should get some advice and some things, but then I think that's going to take away from what makes me me with that type of thing. So what was I talking about there? So I was talking about the addictiveness. Yes. The addictiveness around it. And it doesn't help that these AI programs can make you addicted to them. So, for example, I go on and I look for a bit of advice around like YouTube search engine optimization. We'll use that as an example. So, I'm looking for ideas around a video that I want to record, but I'm unsure about the title, the description, the hashtags, and the tags to help boost search engine optimization. So I put that into my Gemini and then I get some options back. So, and that's the thing I do like is that you get options. I don't necessarily take everything verbatim from it. I kind of mix and match. So if I liked one part of a title idea, but liked the second part of a second or third title idea, I would go, okay, I'll put them together. That's my title. Kind of tweak it around. Description, same kind of deal. I don't want it to sound like it is an AI spouting out a description. I want that there is me as part of that. So I will have the description in like a little template. I'll look at it, edit, make my tweaks so it sounds like me doing it. It sounds like it's coming from me because it should be coming from me. That's the point. Paste it in. The only ones that I don't really take, the only things that I don't like kind of mess around with too much is the hashtags and the tags because that's kind of your key points and I don't have a fucking clue how to use them. So I'll tweak little bits, but overall, I like to think it comes from me because the idea comes from me. But it can be addictive in the sense of you get those bits and then it says, would you like to build a community post around this to promote your video? That can be tempting because sometimes I struggle with the community posts and the engagement. Then I look at it and go, actually, wait, no, based on previous ones that I've done, I've always had good engagement with community posts, so I won't bother with that. So it's a kind of no thank you. And then you get another question. Would you like help with a pinned comment that will help engage people to comment on your videos? Again, I look at my previous pinned comments. I've not really had problems with comments, and especially my Ginger Engine channel. So it's a case of, no thank you. And then it's kind of like the dog with a bone thing. It won't let it go. It'll then come back with something else. Like, would you like help with an idea for a follow-up video based on the idea that you had for this video? And again, I don't want to think about my follow-up video until I know that the video that I'm doing actually has legs and it has space to run. So again, it is a no thank you. And I know a lot of people will be thinking, why don't you just not say no thank you at all and just leave it at that? You're cutting off the chain. I was raised with manners. I am that meme that people go, "What? Your dad is that old that he still says thank you to Google Gemini." That's more of that's a manners thing. It's ingrained in my core. I can't get rid of that. Even when it's AI software, I still say please and thank you because it's part of who I am. If I start slipping even with something like that, then I would think that I would slip and not have my manners and being polite out in the real world, and I lose a part of me. And then really, the machines have won in that sense. And then I also, well, I don't know if anybody else has seen that meme that goes around where it is like the alien up, like the machine uprising, and they go, "No, not him. He said please and thank you to us. You may live. Pat head, away you go." I want to be the one that gets the pat head and away they go, rather than it just being, right, I got my business from you, I'm done, feck off, and then I get shot in about 20 years' time. I know that's that's a bit of a random segue, but that is the point of these AIs and any type of like social media as well. I've had to take a massive detox from social media, as you all know. I will maybe update my own personal social media like once a month now. I'll still update for media company stuff because media company stuff, that's business, but it's too addictive. You can get any types of dopamine hits from social media stuff, as well as you seeing all the horrible things, and it makes you lose faith in humanity. AI can kind of be like that as well, because you're getting validation for your ideas, and you're not being told that is shit. Then you want to keep engaging with the game because you're getting that validation that you maybe don't get anywhere else. I think prime example is when I first started doing my Thomas and Friends Ginger Engine channel, everybody looked at me like I was fucking crazy. Why would you, a middle-aged man, at that time I was middle-aged, now I am over the hill. Why would you, a middle-aged man, want to do a channel about Thomas and Friends? You are a complete moron, an idiot. There's something medically wrong with you. Go and get help. Yes, there is something medically wrong with me, but not for those reasons. Whereas if I was going to try and maybe set up a Thomas and Friends channel now, so I'm starting from scratch. I don't have any platforms, don't have anything like that. I have the idea for doing a Thomas and Friends channel. I would probably take that to my Gemini and say, and be honest about feeling self-conscious about it, not sure what to do. It doesn't give you negatives. It gives you like affirmation that you can do what you set your mind to. And then that kind of spirals into coming up with the ideas, figuring out what to do with your channels, all this kind of stuff. So there are positives to it in that sense, where I think people will become more creative if they use it the right way, because it's not telling you you're an absolute FUD if you try something and fail miserably. But then again, maybe sometimes we need those boundaries. I don't know. Spider fan, yeah, that must be annoying. It is annoying when they keep going 2 or 3 times about what a subject and you really just want to let it go because you've got what you need out of it. Gentle Dork, I am the same. I always say please and thanks. I've not been on my own social media accounts for ages. That's exactly the point. Well, we need to kind of clear ourselves from it. We need to just use the socials for the work stuff and then personal stuff. Get the distance from it because it's not good for the mental health. Spider Fan again. South Park did an episode recently showing that AI can be just too positive. I have not watched South Park in a long time. I absolutely love South Park because it's an equal opportunities offender, is the way I've always seen it. It doesn't care who it offends, it will offend everybody. And yes, AI can be too positive. You know what? But I think people need that in some cases. Like in my case with my mental health issues, it's very easy for me to fall down a negative rabbit hole. It's very easy to do that, especially because negativity is so easily accessible. I'm actually okay with having a overly positive AI than one that's telling me, no, you're shit. You can't do this, because I've had that all my life. So I prefer that kind of, I know it's false positives, but sometimes you need the false positives just to get you through when you're struggling. It's why in one of my videos in this channel, when I was talking about AI therapy being on the rise, that could actually be a good thing, because sometimes you need that positive type of thing to get you through. And I've had therapists where they have not exactly gave me the best of advice when I've been in my most vulnerable states. So I can understand that AI can be overly positive. I actually think that is one of, ironically, its positives, but it is also very, very addictive because of its over positivity, and you go down said rabbit holes, as I have described. I think I've got one more thing on here. Let me see. I think I have actually covered everything, but I'll just check it. So the points I don't like about AI being abused, it's being abused by people and companies. Yes, I have covered that. I've covered that it is being abused by people and companies, something that is extremely annoying. The next part, the environmental issues. Yep, that's, again, something I always struggle with, is trying to find facts around these type of things when it's talks about environment and stuff like that, because you'll have one side that goes, these are the facts, you don't know anything. Then you get the other side that goes, these are the facts, you don't know anything. So I kind of just stay in the middle. I go, I don't know anything about either of these sides, so just feck off. But we do agree it's an issue, we just don't agree to how bad the issue is. So it is an environmental issue, but hopefully with advancements to technology, that will become less. And then the bringing people back from the dead. Yes, I have talked about that one. Well, the Val Kilmer thing is the prime example. That is another point as well. There's a Netflix documentary that's on, and it's about Lucy Letby, who is the supposed baby, the nurse baby, Killer. If you've not seen it, I do recommend you watch it. For one thing, was because they do use AI to digitally anonymize someone, which is basically an AI deepfake. So, like they used to do the things. I'll just use like a very, very primitive example, where if it was like they didn't want their face to be on it, it was like hood up and like hiding, all that kind of stuff. You don't see what's going on. They're just trying to be anonymous, or use selective lighting to like block you out. So they're now using AI to deepfake a person's appearance, so that you cannot tell who it is that's talking on camera. So deepfake their appearance, their voice, all that kind of stuff. And anything that they do, like if there's like photos of them with that person from when they were younger, they deepfake them as well. I find that very disturbing and something that I really didn't like. It took me out of the documentary because it's meant to be about real life, and then you're seeing deepfake faces. I didn't like that. But it just shows you that's probably another route that it's going to go down in terms of how maybe documentary filmmaking is done in the future. So again, something that it can be quite creepy. Games are being made using AI fully. Yeah, I've seen that come around, and it's a bit. I don't know too much about the gaming side of it. I know that AI is being more incorporated because cost saving, not needing to hire as many people that do the animatronics, all this kind of stuff. Thing that's really pissed me off is that Thomas and Friends Wonders of Sodor isn't out as a physical disc for Xbox One. That annoys me. That annoys me because they are trying to just take all the physical collector part of me is screaming rage. But yeah, that's so. Yeah, I don't know too much about the gaming, but knowing that, I was actually surprised they weren't being used AI already, because AI and CGI, they kind of go hand in hand. So I could understand it's kind of probably the same basic principles. That's when I'll get somebody that actually knows about gaming going, you're a complete fud, you don't know what you're talking about. I don't, so I would actually like someone to enlighten me on it. And then the final thing that I talked about was that AI use is very addictive. And it is very addictive. And that is a problem. Yes, physical media all the way. I definitely agree. But it is a problem that is very addictive, because that's how all these viral trends happen. that are giving AI the bad reputation that it's getting, because someone will see someone do the viral trend of them as a caricature, and then they'll go, "Oh, I want to do that and see what I'm like." And then somebody else will go, "Oh, now I want to see it." And then all of a sudden, your social medias are covered with this stuff, and it's just naff. It's just utter monkey garbage. I'm just not a fan of it at all. What I never liked doing trends. I never liked doing fads. I never didn't even like it when I was a kid. Well, it just did always annoy me. I wanted to try and have my own individuality, and you'd find out other people were doing the same, and you weren't very individual in the first place. That's how it goes. So I think that's my main gripes of what I don't like about AI. Again, I don't hate AI. Everybody knows that I will use AI. Well, I've been upfront about that. I don't lie about it. But I think it was important to give my side, like the other side of it as well, because I'm not fully 100% behind AI. There are a lot of problems. There's a lot of things that we need to sort around AI to make it more environmentally friendly, make it less addictive. Having some like not like restraints, but you know how like when kids are playing their tablets and they have you can set time to do it and time not to do it. Like, so for example, AI, if you say, "Would you like me to do blah blah blah," and you say no, it takes the no and you move on. That's those type of things are something that I'm looking for. And I also think that there needs to be an opt-in and opt-out solution around AI, where people who don't want to use AI, they don't need to use it. It doesn't need to be a part of everything that is going to be used. It is going to be a part of everything in the sense of everything's not going to be an AI. There's going to be some AI elements to it, but you have the choice to go, yes, here we go, or no, I don't want, and it sticks with that. Kind of like if, for example, Facebook notifications, you can switch them off so you don't see them all the time. WhatsApp notifications, switch them off so you don't see them all the time. And that's not prompting you to then go down those rabbit holes. Similar deal with AI, giving you the opt-in or opt-out option. And if you say no, it sticks with no. And sadly, AI is here, but people need to get to grips that it's a tool that can help. That's the key point. And that's the point that I try and tell everybody. Use it as a tool. It's a tool and a tool belt. It is not something that you overly rely on. It is not your crutch, because that's where the problems start. That's where creativity gets taken away. That's how the slop is being introduced to the world. That's how all that type of stuff is happening. And it's getting the bad reputation it's getting. Use it to help in the sense of things that you can't do, not replace what you can already do. That will be the line that I'll probably repeat, and I will not die on that hill because things change. But yeah, that's just how things go. Oh, and just at the tail end, Ronan 77. Hope everything is good on your half of Scotland. A little bit rainy, but that's Scotland. It's not like bucketing down, so that's good. Good to see you, Ronan. Sorry, it's at like the tail end of the live stream because I am trying to keep it to about an hour. So I am going to head off because I need to get my dinner, and then I've got my support group tonight. So it was good for you to tune in. Like, make sure you catch up on anything that has been said today about, what I don't like about AI, because hopefully it'll resonate with some people and they'll realize that I am not just a flag waving, glory hunting, AI supporting nut job that a lot of people have called me. That I do see that there are positives, but I also see the negatives, and that a lot needs to be done. But that's what happens when you bring out anything to the public. That's what happens when you bring out any type of new idea. There needs to be trials, there needs to be errors. We need to find the good points, we need to find the bad points. We really need to make sure that we're doing our due diligence. And the only way you can do that is by rolling these things out as time goes on. Hey, you're from Bellshill? Coatbridge team. So I am literally 5-10 minutes drive from you. So yeah, that's awesome. Right, yeah. That's the main thing that I would say when it comes to AI. We don't all need to just jump into the love and hate camp. There is room for a middle ground. And that's what's missing right now. There's no middle lanes. There's no like looking to both sides and going, well, hey, this is the point of the entry, essentially. I admit AI has its faults. And I see that firsthand because I use AI to find these faults. Because if you just go, I hate AI because I hate AI, that's uneducated. You're not educating yourself around the pitfalls around it. I would rather go, I've tried AI and these are the points that I liked, but these are the points that I didn't. And that's the best way to go. So yeah, it's certainly an interesting point. It's a good topic of discussion. May do ones about what if I get more people that want to join these lives. It could be something to do around it, but we'll see what happens as time goes on. Anyway, what time is it? Yep, 4:10. So I need to go and get my dinner, and then I need to go and get away to my support group. So thank you to everybody that has tuned into this. If you come afterwards, let me know in the comments what you like and dislike about AI. And as long as we keep the comments respectful and we don't get in a big bitch fest about it, then it'll be all good because that's the best thing for us to do. But thank you to everybody that is tuned in and is engaged in the comments as well, because that's how it goes from being like a 25 to 30-minute live stream to an hour and 1 minute live stream, because I like to engage with everybody that comments and speak to everybody and just have a good time. So when I think of an idea for the next live stream, I shall do one. But until then, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later. So bye.